Now, the 11th thing is the directness and the intelligence of our pursuit of beauty, truth, and goodness. Meaning, in a healthy environment that facilitates human needs of survival, security, love and belonging, self-esteem, developing gifts, sharing those gifts with community, leaving legacy, and transcending individual consciousness in the highest forms of healthy environment. Beauty, truth, and goodness is instinctively and consciously pursued. Why? I mean, it's just basic, but would you like a pair of shoes that are ugly or a pair of shoes that are beautiful? It is human nature to pursue beauty. Part of how we see beauty, we do this in facial studies, if you give people photos of perfectly symmetrical faces and asymmetrical faces, people will choose the symmetrical faces and say, that's a beautiful face. So there's a connection between beauty and symmetry. Well, there's a connection between truth and symmetry. Why? Well, when you say, I have 5 fingers, those are sounds. And 5 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these mean fingers, or finger and thumb. Now, if I say I have 5 fingers and I show you this, we're happy. Why? Because it's true. How do we know it's true? Because it's symmetrical. I said the sound 5. That means 5 things. These are 5 things as we've broken them down in this culture, in this language. And so there's a symmetry. The words match the reality. They come together and they fit nicely, symmetrically. The words match the reality. Well, what's the reality? It's what my eyes see. So my ears hear what my eyes see. I like it. It's symmetrical. I like that person. They're reliable. They're trustworthy, etc. So beauty and truth have a connection. Goodness, a somewhat ineffable term, a little bit harder to understand and get around because while we do measure typically the wealthiest individuals, usually men in our culture, we have the Forbes 400 list, who are the wealthiest people on the planet. But we don't measure the goodest people. What is goodness? Well, if we understand that beauty, truth, and goodness as a Platonic value is a triangle, we see it's 3 different faces of the same energy. The beauty and the truth and the goodness, you could call goodness a synergy of beauty and truth, or you could also say that goodness is health. For example, is it good to be sick? No, it's not. So goodness is health. Well, then goodness is what is whole. Well, then goodness is what is symmetrical, since what is whole is symmetrical, since the most whole shape is the sphere. Then, if health is good and healing is good, if health is wholeness, if healing is the movement of asymmetry towards symmetry, then we have the connection with goodness. That it's right. For example, someone who pays their debt is a good person. Someone who pays their bills, a good man. Why? Well, they received a product and they exchanged the energy. The circle is complete. You cannot give without receiving. You cannot receive without giving. So when someone takes this, makes a promise, and then pays this at the end of the month, that's a good customer. A bad customer takes and doesn't give. So it's asymmetrical. So we have a movement towards beauty, truth, and goodness. Now, an intelligent and healthy individual in an intelligent and healthy environment will move towards symmetry, beauty, and wholeness directly and intelligently and coherently. What does that mean? It means that if someone says, "How can I make you happy?" You say, "Well, I'm getting very cold right now. What would balance and return symmetry and health to my body would to be warm. So what can you do to make my body warm?" And the other person says, "Well, I have a spare jacket. You can wear that. You can come over here by the fire, or you can come home with me. Which would you like?" They're saying, "Well, I'd like the jacket and sit by the fire." Okay, great. So that's an efficient and direct pattern. Now, in an unhealthy culture, in an asymmetrical and insane culture, someone says, "Do you need help?" And the automatic response is, "No, I'm good." Now, why are they saying they're good when they need help? Because in a sociopathic culture, needing something is feminine and femininity is weak and bad. And so they don't want to admit that they need something, so they would rather suffer than actually participate in being in the feminine role of receiving something from a stranger or someone else. And so this is a indirect way. So they need something, so they say they don't. And in a sociopathic culture, if you say you don't need anything, sometimes your status goes up. Your truck is hanging over a cliff. Someone stops and says, "You need any help?" "Nah, I'm good." It's like, what a rugged man. I mean, what a complete idiot that's going to lose their truck and maybe have their baby fall into a cliff or whatever because they can't ask for help because they're paying attention to the cultural system. So you're much healthier if the path to lovability is easy. And this is one of the reasons I appreciate and honor not only aspects of Asian culture, but also particularly my wife. She is one of the easiest people that I've ever met to love. Meaning, everyone needs love. Everyone needs love and belonging. Now, an easy person to love, you say, "How can I love you?" And they say this, this, and this. And then you do this, this, and this, and they feel loved. That's an easy person to love. A difficult person to love says, when you say, "How can I love you?" they say, "Oh, you don't want to love me." It's like, I don't. I thought I did, but apparently, okay, so what do I want? "Oh, you're bored with someone like me." "Oh, I thought I was interested in you, but I must have been mistaken." So what do I want? "Well, you probably want to just get rid of me. I'm such a terrible person." It's like, well, I thought you were an attractive person until you mentioned it. And so it's like, well, back to the question, how can I love you? What? You're still asking? Oh my goodness, you're a strange person. I better go away and think about it. So 3 years later when they come back, what, you still remembered that? Oh my goodness, let me never speak to you again. Well, that's a hard person to love. And so, with ease, moving towards beauty, truth, and goodness, love is good. Make it easy. Here's my list of ways you can love me. Here's what you can do to leave me completely and utterly loved. And you want to be really easy to love? Make an honest list. I will feel loved if you don't give me flowers. Okay, I'm not giving you any flowers. Do you feel loved? No. Why was that on your list then? Well, stop bothering me. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Okay, very hard person to love. Lovability is a very technical term. An outlet is very easy to connect with. Any plug anywhere in the world can plug into that outlet and power is instant. That's an easy plug to connect with. in a healthy culture, the direct connections of infancy, because every infant wants to connect with their parents, every infant wants to connect with their environment, and every infant starts off easy. Every infant starts off easy. They like this, they smile. They don't like this, they scream and flail about. You give them what they want, they like it, and they grow. They form secure attachments. They form trust because you were secure. They start to communicate verbally to add nuance as soon as they learn words. They tell you the full truth because why would they lie? Because you don't punish them for telling the truth. As soon as you start playing these games with kids, now tell me the truth. Now, whoever tells me the truth, I'm going to hit you. Now, tell me the truth. Well, do you want the truth or do you not? Well, I want the truth, but I'm going to hit you if you tell me the truth. Well, that doesn't sound like you want to hear the truth. If you're going to hit me for telling you the truth, stop talking or I'll hit you for that as well. Oh, it doesn't sound like you want me to talk, but you're telling me to talk. I see. This is a very difficult situation. And so the directness of beauty, truth, and goodness, well, you get fucked up parents like that fucking up their infancy, the infancy, the childhood, the teenagers. By the time they're 20, 25, you say, what do you want? It's like, is this a trap? Am I going to be shamed for that? Am I going to, it's completely insane. You're in such an unhealthy family and cultural system that you're all over the place here, and you've forgotten who you were because it was so pressurized into you to accept the external wound and internalize it as your new shape. Now you're the person who doesn't know what you want. Now you're the person who likes pain. Your parents hurt you and you scream and they say, "You shut up. This was for your own good." So you start thanking them for hurting you, and then they smile. Well, now you go find an abusive lover and thank them for hurting you, and they like it because fits in with the system. It's very difficult to love that person, though. Finally, you're healthy if you are progressing on the hierarchy of needs, and you are progressing intelligently and efficiently. The efficiency with which you go from the need to survive to the need to transcend the ego and give back as part of a larger system. The efficiency with which you go through that. Do you do it in a year? Do you do it in 50 years? Or do you die in survival? In a healthy environment, living a healthy pattern, you die with a fulfilled life of meeting the human needs within yourself and sharing that with other people in a transcendent pattern. So this is the 12th metric. And finally, do you have vision and do you move towards synergy? Part of embracing the unknown, part of having the full range of relationship with time is a positive and excited relationship with the future. I'm excited about what's coming. I'm excited about who I'm becoming. I'm excited about what I'm learning. I'm excited about what can be. And I'm looking for synergy. How could this and this and this form something bigger than I could have imagined before? How could you and you and you form a company, a project, a healing center, a magical resonance builder that would never exist without all three of you, all five of you? How could you work towards synergy? You've now got vision and synergy as the positive expression of a healthy relationship with the unknown as opposed to a fear-based relationship with the unknown, as a healthy byproduct of climbing Maslow's hierarchy of needs, as a healthy process of being able to form attachments, because you need to attach and associate and integrate to form synergy. So if you have vision about the future that is beautiful, that is true, that is good, and you are interacting with that vision, etc., you are moving towards health. Finally, every single action of every single person around you, and the closer you are to them, the bigger the amplitude of their action, has beneath it a complex pattern of beliefs. For example, the choice to keep a secret generally correlates with the belief that the world is not a friendly place. If you need to keep something secret, as a general rule, you don't say, "My goodness, I'm surrounded by people who love me, who understand me, who are competent, and who want the best for me. Therefore, the more they know about me, the more successful they will be at loving and understanding and wishing the best for me." That's my view of people. So I want to keep a secret so that they can love me less. No, the choice to keep a secret is like, gee, this is a dangerous world. Someone might use this secret to hurt me. Someone might do this and that the other. I'm surrounded by idiots. Even if they were well-intentioned, they'd probably screw it up and ruin my life if I told them this information, so I'm going to keep it a secret. Every single action we take references underlying beliefs. And those beliefs carry messages. You're a good person, you're a bad person. You're a safe person, you're an unsafe person. You're bad for me, you're good for me. You're worthless, you're valuable. They carry messages. Within beliefs and within behavior is an impact of messages. It's a pattern of energy that is synchronous with certain thought patterns. Now, as people behave around us based on certain assumptions and projections, those impact us. The messages impact us because the mirror neurons in our brain are always trying to understand other people so we can relate to them, so that we can meet our needs for love and belonging, for safety and security and survival and all of that. And so we're trying to figure out what is that person over there thinking and believing and feeling that is making them do what they do. Well, if we need help and we say, "Could you help me?" and they never return the call, but when we say we've won the lottery, they return the call instantly, a reasonable assumption is they don't value me enough to help, but they value me enough to take my money, or they value themselves. I mean, that's one reasonable thing that's consistent with that behavior. Or they're ashamed that they can't help me, and they don't want to feel ashamed, so anytime I need help, they don't help. And then they don't talk about it because they're afraid of facing shame. They can't deal with shame. The point is, whatever the underlying reason, when people act and not act in a certain way, it sends messages. Now, when people won't clear up what the messages are, why is it you never respond to these emails and you always respond to these? Like, I have a brother who procrastinates and procrastinates and procrastinates and procrastinates and procrastinates, and then I get mad at him and I say, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing da 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 da?" Well, he instantly responds to that. So he doesn't respond to this feeling, he doesn't respond to that feeling, he doesn't respond to this, but he responds to criticism. He's instantly interested and prioritizes criticism, but not kindness, or not this, or not this. And it's like, well, why are you doing that? Well, that's not a criticism, so that doesn't get answered. If I criticize him and say, "You're such an idiot. You didn't do that as usual, and why are you prioritizing this instead of that?" Then he'll answer it because it's a criticism. But if I just say, "This is puzzling. I said this nice to you, you ignored me. I did that to you, you ignored me." Part of the family system, we don't talk about feelings, right? So I'm breaking the law. Don't you understand? You're part of this family. We don't talk about feelings. But criticism, it's not so much a feeling. It's a judgment. We do that a lot in this family, so I'm instantly in on that one. So if you'll just frame your feelings as criticisms, I'll respond to them. But I don't want to be a critical person. Well, then you can't have a relationship with me because I'm not going to respond to your feelings. So what do you want? Do you want a relationship with your brother? Or do you want to become a critical person? Do you want to be a nice person, have no relationship, or do you want to be a critical person and have a relationship? These are the bargains that are offered. Sign here. You will criticize me in this and this and this way. I will respond defensively. If you share your feelings, I will, of course, ignore you, since we both know feelings have no place in our family. Sign here. You want to be engaged in that contract? Take it or leave it. That's the deal. I'll go find someone else to criticize me if you won't play along. And so these beliefs, though, tie in with, for example, criticisms are important. Or whoever criticizes is the powerful one and should be listened to. Well, how does that come? Well, Dad criticized the most and he seemed to pull the strings. So anyone who wants to get attention should assume Dad's role, the critical parent. So the belief, though, is innate in the behavior. People always act consistent with their beliefs, which are consistent with their projections of reality. And you only exist in another person's reality if you are consistent with a projection that is real to them. If their projection is that all men are jerks, you open the door for that woman, it just proves what a jerk you are. What a jerk. He thinks he's going to get into my pants by opening the door. Schmuck. Give me that door. I don't need to be let in by any man. You offer to help up the street. I don't need some man to help me. Go try and seduce some young floozy that doesn't know what a jerk you are. You punch her in the face. Yep, I knew you were a jerk. It almost makes them happier because you're behaving consistent with the line. Of course you punch me in the jerk. It's like, there's not really any room for me, is there? I can be a jerk by punching you in the face, or I can be a jerk by helping you up, or the jerk by opening the door for you, or a jerk by giving you flowers and proving how patronizing I am. I guess I can't really exist here, so bye-bye, not a very interesting projection over here. Let's go over in this other domain where I can exist. But the behavior will be consistent with the belief, and it will be coming in large cultural waves. Large cultural waves that say feelings don't matter. What do you mean feelings don't matter? Well, do you learn about feelings in kindergarten? No, you learn to lie and not tell what's really going on because the teacher glares at you if you tell what's going on. If you say you hate someone, they tell you not to say that. They don't ask why you hate them and learn about your feelings. They tell you not to tell anyone that you have those feelings. And what about middle school? Yeah, whoever has the most feelings in middle school gets teased and humiliated until they shut up about them. And what about high school? Oh yes, that gets taken to a whole new level as the coolness competition gets going on. And what about college? You learn all about feelings there? No, you learn about anonymous sex and numbing and drinking and this and that and the other, and how you have to be really mature and not have feelings but focus on your career. And what about your career? You learn about feelings there? No, you learn that that's unprofessional to have feelings. Of course you have feelings, but they're unprofessional. So breathe deeply. Pretend that you don't have those feelings and tell the client, we would be delighted to waste our time being run around by another tyrannical client. No, it's no trouble at all to spend all weekend, going over the thing I already told you? Yes, no trouble at all. No. My kids that are dying to see me, they can all grow up dysfunctionally. No trouble at all. Yes, it's a pleasure doing business with you and selling my entire soul for your petty wages. But service with a smile, and hang up the phone. No, you learn to be a complete sociopathic idiot in the business world because there doesn't fit into the box. And so, but feelings matter. So you want me to be insane? Is that it? You want me to believe that feelings really matter, which is why I'm studying calculus that I'm never going to use in my entire life, and I haven't received a single mature hour of emotional literacy from a scientist or an intelligent, competent adult in my entire life. Yeah, we want you to believe that. You think I'm an idiot. You believe I'm an idiot because you're telling me dumb things that anyone, even a 5-year-old, would know you're full of shit. But you know I'm not going to call you on it because I've been trained by the cult. You see? So we're not going to teach you anything. We're going to shame your feelings. We're going to humiliate your feelings. We're going to bully your feelings. We're going to further patronize your feelings. We're going to raise you in a sociopathic, chauvinistic framework in which the more feminine you are, the more emotional you are, and the more emotional you are, the weaker you are. And we're just going to drive you completely insane and miserable. And hopefully you can just start drinking and buy the expensive bullshit and toxicity for your body, because those are the people buying all the ads. We've sold them to them. And then you'll look cool as you're destroying your body and da-da-da-da-da. So this is the framework of health. The messages of projected beliefs are coming at us from all of these sides all the time. The healthiest relationship we can have is with this part of the higher nature, or the breath in and out with the highest mathematics. In a dysfunctional cult, this will put us at odds with the majority, which will challenge survival, security, love and belonging, self-esteem, developing our gifts, giving them back to the community, and transcending the human ego. In part because transcending the human ego is bad for business. As soon as you have a population of people who understand that they're bigger than their own ego, then how can you sell those egos on the endless supply of expensive and unnecessary products on the basis that it makes their ego better than somebody else's ego? How can you sell them that if you understand the transcendent part of nature? So nobody's interested in that transcendent part. They're going to shove that aside and just call it weird because it's bad for business. And nobody's interested in developing your gifts unless they fit in the cult. And nobody's interested in your sense of who you are and whether you like yourself, because who gives a shit about that? Are you wearing Gucci or not? And nobody's going to be interested in the love and belonging that you want as a healthy human being. You want long mornings of cuddling. You want a nice water birth. You want this. That doesn't fit into this cult. Who do you think you are? And who's going to help you survive and feel secure in that survival if you're not playing along with the game? We're not going to pay you lots of money to meditate. We're going to pay you lots of money for turning $1 widgets into $10 widgets. The dream of the online entrepreneur. 1,000% growth if you can find that little niche. To buy something for $1 and sell it for 10. You too can be rich. If you can do that, you've got set for life. But meditating? Being kind? Helping babies? Give me a break. We're a materialistic, fucked up cult. We're not some intelligent group of human beings waiting around to do the right thing just because it's beautiful, just because it's accurate, just because it's scientifically valid. No. So this tension, in many ways, is the polarity between the hereditary baggage of a survival trauma-based cult and the future that we are becoming as a species. It is a tension between this hereditary baggage and the future we are becoming. And we as individuals live in that tension. We become whole. We gain energy. We come alive. to the extent that we invite the symmetry, the complexity, the mathematics, the beauty, truth, and goodness of the field of which we are becoming, of the future self, into our lives and allow it to change us, nourish us, feed us, encourage us. Encourage us to what? To face the fear of being a minority in a sociopathic paradigm. Because you are a minority. If you say, I have $1 million, I don't really need $1 million, why don't I give 900,000 to these people over here who really need homes and caring? It's like, what? Are you out of your mind? Have you forgotten the cult we raised you in? The dog eat dog, the whole thing. It's like, we're not going to give you our money. You'll just give it away to people who need it. We're trying to climb on the Forbes 400 list. We were 78 2 years ago, and with careful manipulation and laying off 200,000, now we're at 54. The ultimate game. Who can have the most bits of paper that mean absolutely nothing? And sell out as much as we can along the way. So in this framework, the courage to be a minority. And one thing I'll leave you with, because it's an important part of understanding this, is that in a bell curve, the brightest future is always represented by the thinnest minority. Meaning at any point in human history, in any culture, at any location on the planet, the brightest, the most advanced, the most intelligent, the most innovative, the most efficient, the most beautiful, true, and good protocol is practiced by the thinnest minority. And the thinnest minority is one person. When one person is embodying something that's 300% more intelligent, intelligent is the efficiency with which energy is transformed into human well-being. When one person is embodying something that's 300% more intelligent than any other articulated protocol on the planet, you've got the bleeding edge minority. Now, as soon as they tell someone else, now it's 2 people, now it's 5 people. But by definition, the future of the planet is occupied by the minority, who in time will become the majority in the bell curve phenomena. But by the time that the majority is doing the thing that was once done only by a minority, a new minority has come along that has developed a new thing that is better than the last new thing, because life evolves, because reality moves forward. So at any point, what is becoming new and healthy is being adopted. Being adopted by more and more people becomes the majority, by which time there is a new bleeding edge of pioneers. It's just, you can watch it in software development. By the time Microsoft secured their dominance and Apple secured this and that, the other, now you've got, I think it's Unix, the crowd sharing stuff. And by the time they get rid of that, then blockchain technology, a whole new thing, and then cloud, by the time one thing gets perfected, so it's just so wonderful. The combustion engine it's never been better. Gas stations all over the place. It's already in the past. It's already inferior to the Model 3s that are coming online today, to the Model Ys, to the new fleet of electric vehicles that are coming. So it's by definition. And so an intelligent cult, an intelligent species, cares for its minorities, honors its minorities, its divergent thinkers, its divergent feelers, its divergent doers. Because although there may be a number of minorities that miss the mark, that fail, that pursued something that didn't work out. By definition, it is a scientific reality that the thing that will be done by the most people in 30 years from now, in 100 years from now, in 10 years from now, are being done by the smallest group of people today. Which is why one of the most important distinctions to make in a movement towards health and wholeness and evolution is the distinction between normalcy and intelligence, which is, and a good way to build towards it is to train people to choose happiness over normalcy. Train your kids and your partners to go shopping in their pajamas. It doesn't hurt anyone. It's not normal, but it's more comfortable. It's more playful. It's more fun. Go shopping in a bathrobe. Enjoy the smiles. Enjoy the looks. Break the taboo. Retire for 10 years at age 30. Then go back to work at age 40. Knowing a bunch of useful stuff you will not know otherwise until you're 60 years old and it's too late. Don't study algebra, calculus, doctored versions of history, etc. Study imagination. Study meditation. Study sales. Study something useful. See where that takes you. Diverge from normalcy in conscious ways that are intelligent and bring happiness. This is a habit. It becomes easier and easier with time because diverging from the norm intelligently leads to a higher than average success rate. So follow that success. Gain confidence. Get to the point where when everyone says you're wrong, it's encouraging. When everyone says that is a terrible idea, you say, great, I'm going to do that. Because the majority is always wrong. In the history of humankind, the majority, by definition, is doing something less advanced than the minority, which means they are in an inferior protocol, scientifically defined by the convergence of energy into human well-being. Delight in joining the fringe group. Find locations where minorities are honored. Thank you for the quality of your attention. I want to close by inviting you to not only reflect, to not only explore, but to take 3 seeds and take action in the next month of your life. Set 3 seeds that can turn the tide of the future by just a few degrees. You see, on a long voyage of a lifetime, when a ship sets out from port, 3 degrees, it ends up in an entirely different country. 3 degrees over here, an entirely different country. Pick 3 choices that open things up. Take some time to think about this. This is anomalous thinking. Watch the video again. Play with it. Create your life responding more and more to the sphere, responding more and more to wholeness.